So it's kind of a funny time to do this video, and I didn't plan on this, but I just googled Andre Drummond, and it seems that he's got 2 women pregnant, apparently. And, yeah, now everything I say in this video is going to be like 6% more difficult for him to do, because he's got some stuff going on. But we're going to talk about Andre Drummond, the basketball player, in this video. And we're going to talk about, has he hit his ceiling as a player? How old is he at the moment? I have to Google him again because I was locked into this other story. He's 25 years old, about the time when NBA players kind of hit their ceiling of what they're going to be besides little changes here and there. However, you could argue that there's something about Drummond that makes you believe he can keep on getting better. It might be the fact that he made some pretty decent improvements this previous season, you know? Free throw percentage took a big jump, his playmaking was a real thing before Blake got there, his ball handling goes hand in hand with the playmaking was a little better. He stopped posting up, which was huge because Drummond's not a good post-up player. If 2K has ever made you believe that he can score on the low block efficiently, I'm sorry, but they're flat out wrong. In 2016, he was in the 27th percentile. 2017, he was in the 20th percentile. And then this previous season, he was in the 40th percentile, mainly because he just stopped doing it as much. So don't expect hook shots, turnaround jumpers, up and under moves, any of that stuff from Andre. But you know what? If he doesn't do it, then that's okay. The spacing was a lot better, and because his value as an offensive rebounder is, of course, massive, that made him a way better offensive player. And some other advanced stats would back that up, as he had the highest personal offensive rating of his career. Yeah, if he can keep on keeping on with that, then that's huge. Is there some fear that his free throws could regress back? Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, when you've sucked at free throws for your entire life, figuring them out for one 7 or 8 month stretch does not mean you're out of the woods, but it's progress. And even if he only ends up getting to, let's say, 67, 68%, maybe he touches 70% a couple of times in his career, that is still huge for everything else he does on offense, right? Because then he can play at the end of games, and his offensive rebounding is even more valuable because he's either going to get it and put it back up, he's going to pass it out, and then the team's going to have 10 seconds to score because of the new dumb offensive rebound rule, or you're going to foul him and he's probably going to make at least one of them. So extra possessions for the Pistons, extra points, all good stuff. The other thing that I want to talk about with his offense is the idea of his jump shot, because it seems that he's actually working on 3-pointers. Now, based on the little bit of footage I saw, which I'm sure does not reflect all the training he did, but in the one little thing I've seen, he was trying pull-up jumpers and jump shots in isolation situations. I don't like that, okay? We don't want Drummond ISOs, but if we could have Drummond open corner threes for 2 or 3 attempts a game tops, yeah, I'm okay with that. I guess I could be okay with behind the break 3-pointers as well. We don't want him spotting up, okay? We want Drummond around the basket doing Andre Drummond things, but if the defense is going to leave him occasionally wide open in the half court or something like that, which they were doing last year, by the way, because one thing he would do when the big guy would back up off of him when he was doing his passing stuff is he would just attack him off the dribble, right? So now if you're going to have a jump shot to go along with that, then that can be huge as well. If he can figure all these things out, I could picture Drummond having a bit of an Al Horford impact on offense, on top of having an Andre Drummond offensive impact, which makes you incredibly valuable. Now, do I think he's going to be Al Horford, great spacing, great passer, all that stuff next season? No. It's going to take a while for you to be a comfortable 3-point shooter and all that. But if you can have those strides early on, and then just keep on keeping on, maintain the at least respectable free throw percentage, then yeah, Drummond's offense could really come around. Now, it could regress, and he could just be a great offensive rebounder, a great roller to the rim, who can't really do anything else for you. Even so, that's still pretty decent, but that would be a little bit of a bummer after the promising season he had a year ago. As for his defense, I don't know what his ceiling is there, just because I feel like defense is a little different than offense, where after 6 seasons, if you don't have it, you just might not have it. Now, that's not to say he's bad. I say he's not bad. He's okay. The Pistons have always been, not a terrible defensive team with him, and he's definitely part of that. I mean, sure, he doesn't have the defensive instincts of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates, but he's definitely not as bad as Enes Kanter, and he's probably even better than, Hassan Whiteside was last season, you know? So, he can be a body. He's not going to kill you. Sometimes you're going to roll your eyes a little bit because maybe he doesn't go as hard stepping up on the pick and roll as you would like, or maybe his physicality in the low post defending it is perhaps not as good as you'd like to see. But from a day in, day out standpoint, he's typically decent enough. I think the one area he could get better at is probably defending the pick and roll, just because he's a decent athlete. Or really, I should say a very good one. And whenever I have seen him play defense, he usually is pretty alright at it. He can step up and he outstretches his arms and he still keeps the opposing big kind of in his area. Sometimes he messes up on it, but again, he's not horrible. So I could see a little bit of an improvement, but I'm definitely a little more focused on what his ceiling is offensively. Now, Dwayne Casey is there, not Stan Van. And I would hope that Casey realizes what Drummond was doing well last season. Now, Casey was on board with Valanciunas shooting a couple of threes a game, so he doesn't seem like a stuck in the 1990s type of a coach, so that's good. At the same time, he did need a bit of a kick in the ass for the Raptors to start passing the ball more often, so I don't know, that'll be interesting. What I hope is that Drummond is able to still do some of the things that he was doing last season, and him and Blake can be a really good passing duo, and the Pistons will have a lot of cuts and everything, and Drummond will never post up and set a lot of screens, cut to the basket, and he can just be the type of center that can really lead to some victories and all that. So we'll see what happens. The Pistons will be intriguing. Their court is really bright in 2K, and that's annoying, but that's not their fault.